Hey hackers, my name is Andrew and I created the challenge Near Space Near You. Your goal is to develop a lesson plan and bill of materials which teaches students how to build a low-cost, high-altitude balloon capable of reaching near space. The definition of near space depends on who you're talking to, but for this challenge, assume it's between 20 and 100 kilometers. NASA and other scientific organizations use high-altitude balloons to study the weather, the cosmos, and test payloads developed for orbiting satellites. When I was in college, I launched a high-altitude balloon with a friend, and we had a lot to learn. It ended up going way out of the way, and I wish we had a packet of information to learn from. One of the things that I learned is that it's actually very cheap to launch one of these. I didn't have much on my first balloon except a tracking device. Designing and launching a high-altitude balloon develops many skills, including problem solving, flight tracking and prediction, communication, telemetry, and coordination with local governments. Here are some potential considerations. What government organizations do you have to coordinate with to launch a balloon? How does the environment affect a high-altitude balloon? How can someone predict the flight path and landing zone of a high-altitude balloon? What are the minimal components needed for a balloon? Well, you got the balloon, a gas to put in it, what else? In addition to those minimal components, what else could you add to a high-altitude balloon to make it awesome? Where does someone purchase these materials from? What are the different types of technology or techniques used to track a balloon? What cautions must someone take when launching a balloon? Think about who you can share this project with to help develop your idea before the end of the Space Apps weekend. And finally, how does physics determine the size, weight, and overall design of your high-altitude balloon? There are several resources in the challenge which refers to how NASA uses high-altitude balloons. But you can also do a search on the internet to find out how other people do it. In summary, the goal of this challenge is to be able to provide information to a group of students on how to build a low-cost, high-altitude balloon. How do they prepare for it? Where do they buy the materials? How to launch it? And how to retrieve it? Along with the other Space App staff, I am super excited to see how you will solve this challenge. Thanks for participating in this virtual bootcamp, and I'll see you at Space Apps.